It's my privilege to welcome our next guest, Shri Subodh Tiwari ji, who was born in the yogic atmosphere at Kaivalya Dhama, Lonavala. At a young age, he received spiritual initiations from Swami Digambar ji, the director and spiritual head of Kaivalya Dham Yoga Institute, and began yoga practices under the guidance of his father. He pursued higher education in Bombay in law and a diploma in human resource management, and is presently pursuing the master's degree in human resource management. In 1992, he completed his certificate course in yoga. He joined as the administrator of the Sadatgupt Yogic Hospital and Healthcare Center, and also shouldered the responsibility of administration of the institute implementing improved system. He initiated and coordinated programs to train school teachers in yoga of Navodaya School Kendra Vidyalayas and for schools in the state of Maharashtra. He was the coordinator on behalf of the institute for the scheme of promotions of yoga in schools by the Minister of Human Resource Development. He was also the coordinator of the schemes of school health under the Department of Ayush, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. He has been organizer and convener of various international conferences organized by Kaivalya Dhama, Lonavala. He has spoken at various national and international conferences. He visited the countries like USA, Canada, Macau, Mauritius, Germany, France, and Italy to conduct yoga workshops. He is also the secretary of the Lonavala Citizen Forum. His goal is to qualitatively enhance the life of an individual through the practice of yoga and enhance the quality of environment through human efforts. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shri Subodh Tiwari ji.
My greetings to all of you from Kaivalya Dham Yoga Institution at Lonavala. We'll just give ourselves a few seconds and recite the Shanti Mantra before I go on to speak on one of the most profound topics which has been suggested for me, and that is meditation or Dhyana and its techniques. Give yourself a few seconds to relax and feel your breath. Feel the inhalation and the exhalation. Inhale. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you to the organizers, Dr. Vikram and his team, to have invited me here to speak on Dhyana, that is meditation and its techniques. I come from Kaivalya Dham, an institution established in 1924. And one of the most important aspects was that Swami Kaivalyananda ji, who started the scientific research in yoga for the first time in the world, emphasized on two very important aspects, which initiated a snowball effect in the world of yoga research. The common perception of yoga on its physical well-being still holds the majoritarian view. But Swami Kaivalyananda ji started the research in the field of Antaranga Yoga, though it was very difficult. And all of us know the Antaranga Yoga, the aspect of Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. So out of Ashtanga Yoga, I'll just reiterate, everyone is knowledgeable, everyone has information. But when Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar are the part which are to do, or the Bharanga Yoga, the Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi are what happens, and it is the reflective part, it is the awareness part, it is the observation part. And he initiated research projects on understanding these states of human consciousness, the states of human mind. I always say that most profound in life are in fact very simple. And similarly, the understanding and practice of dharana, dhyan, and samadhi are of profound importance. But for a sadhak who is sincere in his approach, it is simple because it is more about observation, awareness that results in transformation. You cannot compartmentalize dhyana, and therefore I cannot speak alone only of dhyan and its techniques, because there is a prelude to what you do, what gets you to the state of dhyan. And this is very important according to me personally, according to the philosophy of Maharishi Patanjali, according to Yoga Sutras. Maharishi Patanjali describes the state of dharana, deshabandhasya chittasya dharana, and that is, in common terminology, we may say concentration. And then he is emphatic on the fact that when you continue to practice dharana, dhyana will happen. Like a pendulum, you concentration, it goes to dhyana, comes back, goes to dhyana and comes back. So dhyana is a state which happens and which is not to be practiced. It happens. The emphasis is on the aspect of happening, the aspect of being and not doing. And this is the simplistic aspect which we need to understand. So you practice concentration, and Patanjali goes ahead and defines dhyana. Tatra pratyayika tanta dhyana. Steady and continuous flow of attention on a point, place, or region. So your higher consciousness is focused. It goes into a state where through concentration you are focused, you are aware, you are observant of your inner self. And it is also very important for us to understand, when we look and understand Ashtanga Yoga, we speak of yamas and niyamas and asana and pranayama and pratyahara and dharana. Friends, if we look at from one of the most important dimensions or definition of yoga as yoga's chitta vritti nirodha, then we have to understand that yamas and niyamas are something which will not only be practiced because we want to start practicing it, or they are not some processes which you can immediately go practice, but according to my understanding, which might be new for many of you, yamas and niyamas would majoritarily be also an outcome of practice of dhyana. Because when you are able to maintain yourself in the state of dhyana or meditation, the byproduct is the change of the consciousness in you, where the aspect of ahimsa, satya, asteya, parigraha, brahmacharya, or sauch, santosh, tapas, swadhyaya, ishwar, pranidhan are strengthened. They are the byproducts. They come out of that state of being in dhyana. And therefore, friends, dhyan often, I believe in today's world, is misunderstood to an extent that there is too much of talk about doing dhyana and practicing dhyana, whereas our focus and our awareness, our effort should be practice dharana, dhyana will happen, and so you will have to be more observant, more aware about it, more aware of your internal self. Swami Kuvalyanandaji, right in 1940s, did a very interesting experiment. He had one individual in state of dhyana, almost in state of laya samadhi, very high level of meditative condition. and another individual was placed in a hypnotic trance. And he wanted to understand what is the difference, because for us, we have to realize that internal journey is not easy. So for a person to be evaluated in a lab setting for differentiation between being in a state of meditation and in a state of hypnosis was very important. So a gentleman was in both the stage, and there were various stimulus which were given in the laboratory. Cold water drops were put on the thighs of the practitioners, both of them. A pin was pricked to both of the practitioners. Hot wax was put on both the practitioners. One in state of hypnotic trance and one in the state of deep meditation. And what were the scientific evaluation and results? The scientific evidence said that individual who was in state of hypnotic trance, though from the external self looked and seemed to be in a state of complete equilibrium, his statistics, his scientific parameters fluctuated, his heart rate fluctuated, his skin reaction fluctuated. We could see there was a reaction in it. That means that the level of consciousness was still there at the superficial level. But the individual who was in a deep state of meditation, whose consciousness was completely internal, did not show any changes in his parameters such as heart rate, skill galvanic resistance, or temperature. And when this gentleman was asked after the experiment, he says, I was aware of what was happening around me, but it did not impact. So meditativeness, meditation, dhyana, is a state where we are able to continuously internalize our consciousness in a very simple term. Because there can be a lot of sutras which can be quoted, there can be a lot of philosophy which can be said. So many learned people around. But our dimension is that it's a state comes out of practice of dharana, and you are able to completely enable yourself to internalize your consciousness of awareness. Is it easy? Is it that one person sits in dhyan and he is able to maintain that state for a long time? No. It is an happening which occurs bit by bit. More the practice, more the time you spend in state of dhyan. So you might have 5 minutes and then you may start thinking, your mind goes away, your concentration breaks. That is fair, that is okay. You have slowly to grow in a state of meditation. You have to slowly grow in the state of dhyana. Everything else helps you to go there. And everything else is also a byproduct of dhyana. So yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar will lead you towards that. But also when you are able to stay in state of dhyana for a long time, your yama, niyama, asana, pranayam and pratyahar will be strengthened. So this is a concept which we need to understand. And that is the reason why the focus of yoga is on chitta vritti nirodha and not on sharira vritti nirodha. It is talking of the higher possibilities of human being, the higher consciousness of human being, the intellect of the human being, the internal travel of the human being. The modern scientific research has thrown so much of light on the benefits of meditation. Patanjali has professed dhyana as per the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, what I just quoted. But of course, there are many rivers which meet the ocean. You have Preksha meditation in Jainism. You have Buddhist meditation. You have dynamic meditation. You have Kundalini meditation. You have many meditational techniques which are available for each one of us, because it is variety of human beings and they may choose what technique they want to go through. But every river will lead to the same ocean, and that ocean of consciousness, the ocean of awareness, the ocean of being able to stay in that single point of thought. So friends, enough scientific evidence to show that practices of meditation or dhyana increase your GABA, the neurotransmitters, which make you feel happier, which have positive impact. Meditation techniques have evidence that it reduces your anxiety and depressive states. And one important aspect which we need to understand, that one's ability to continue in that state of dhyana or meditation will enable you to strengthen yourself from within, at physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual level. Because I say it is not apparent, but there is a huge transformation which happens through these practices. And when you experience a state of meditation, that is a state where you are, in fact, going to be wise and not otherwise. So I thank the organizers to have given me this opportunity to speak on this subject. And lastly, I will just say that in yoga, I always quote Swami Kaivalyanandji and say that no amount of intellectual understanding and pursuit will take you even whit nearer to the sublime experiences of yoga. Only the practice aspect will lead you to that experiential paradigm, which is the primary focus of yoga. So abhyas is the only way out and the only way in. So I thank the organizers and I thank all of you to have heard me. Thank you so much. Dhanyavad.
Thank you so much, respected Subodhji, and it's very inspiring. Our respect towards Honorable, in the memory of Honorable Swami Kaivalyanandji, who has given the gift of yoga to whole country and the world. And we feel inspired that you come from a lineage of one of the most ancient school of yoga, and this legacy is being transferred to generations and thousands of people. You rightly mentioned that we practice dharana and meditation happens. You profoundly said that yama and niyama in a way are the byproduct of dhyana itself. You also mentioned about the research that was conducted in 1940s about, we can't imagine even at that time Kaivalya Dham was conducting scientific research. It's so inspiring. It is a news for me also. It's so inspiring that how person in dhyan and hypnotic trance, fundamental difference can be seen in their state of consciousness. And we will take your message that it is the practice that makes us perfect and not intellectual understanding only, so that we can be wise and not otherwise. Thank you very much, Subodhji. Regards.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Shri Subodh Tiwari ji to come on to the platform of United Consciousness and share his views. Thank you so much.